Well, I just got done watching the Ravens Bills game, and safe to say, this week the media is going to be eating. They're going to be living off of rage bait. But then again, it was a pretty entertaining slate of games specifically, at least. So I'll take it. What is up, guys? Welcome back to Soulback Sports, and I'm so back with another video. And today I'm going to be doing my reactions to the four divisional games that happened yesterday and today. So please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really means a lot to the channel. We have to create content like this for you guys. Always remember to like and subscribe, and let's get on with it. So as of right now, the four games that I've played, we'll start with the Texans and Chiefs because honestly, after the last three games, I generally forgot this game happened, and it literally happened yesterday, and there was only four games. So that just says a lot about this game because the Texans really didn't put up that much of a fight, especially near the end, because the Chiefs, it was just pretty much inevitable. There was a decent amount of ref ball involved when it comes to in favor of the Chiefs, but the Texans weren't doing any favors for themselves either. Um, Going with the stats, CJ Stroud, not really anything crazy because he only had 245 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Joe Mixon and the rest of the team had a lot of things to do with it. And, their leading receiver was Nico Collins. But the one thing for sure certain is that Travis Kelsey is doing becoming Travis Kelsey of old at the right time. And this year, you kind of really saw that he wasn't really much of a factor, and a lot of the play scheming and whatnot. I mean, yes, he did do stuff, but he wasn't necessarily a thing. Maybe due to age and whatnot. But this time, he had an iconic, typical Travis Kelsey performance when it had seven receptions for 117 yards, and the Texans had really no answer for him, especially when it comes to the yards after the catch, because this dude was very shifty and give credit where credit is due. He had even a touchdown as well. Kareem Hunt, pretty solid running back for them. And Patrick Mahomes, did his thing, nothing crazy stats wise. But I will say the defense for the Kansas City Chiefs have shown up. And the offense for the Houston Texans did stall out. And this kind of just shows that, with now Mahomes is now back to seven straight AFC title games. And he's only been in the league for 7 years. You know how insane that is in the first place? Just wrap your mind. Every single year you were a quarterback for this league, you went to the AFC Championship game. Like, you can't make that up. That's some like Madden, my career mode kind of stat line. But give credit where credit is due. Team stats wise, like, the Texans really dominated when it comes to like the total yards, but like, they were kept at bay when it comes to against the Kansas City Chiefs. Third down efficiency, surprisingly, the Chiefs didn't really do that good, but they did convert a very crucial fourth down. CJ Stroud had 8 sacks in this game, which was pretty bad to say the least, and he didn't play that great either, to say the least. And the Texans as a whole, like, it was pretty boring to watch. They just couldn't convert. That's pretty much the game as a whole. It just the Chiefs were just bound to win this game. And there was a couple of calls specifically that really just went against the Texans and really killed the momentum. And as you can see right here, the penalty in yards, 82 yards of penalty, like, that will sting you when it comes to a playoff game. And yes, some of them were pretty suspect, especially that end of the game when there was like that safety thing. Like, I swear they're trying to get the spread. They were trying to just do it for the spread, and that was a little bit suspect to say the least. But I mean, the Chiefs did it again. What can you say? Really? But gotta give credit where credit is due. Let's go on to the next game. Whoops, sorry guys. Let me find it. Um, Next game. Yeah, I listen. I was rooting for the Commanders in this one. Lions. What the heck? All season. It was honestly, it was pretty funny because the thing is, I did not want to root for the Commanders. Let's be really clear with that. I did not want the Commanders to win in general, but I had to because it was a divisional rival against the Commanders, and the Commanders absolutely dogged you guys. Plain point simple. Team stats. Let's actually go to the team stat because Jared Goff had turnovers. We already knew that. Like in the first half alone, there was like 52 points scored. This game was high octane offense. No defense was played whatsoever. 27 first downs, 30 first downs. They just did not, they went for it on every fourth down possible. And yards per play, insane. Rushing yards, insane. Passing yards, insane. Like this team, like, okay, let's talk about the Lions specifically. After going 15-2, I understand that you guys had a lot of injuries. Let's be really clear. Injuries wise, they had the injury bug when it comes to their defense, but they were able to stay afloat. But it kind of does make a hindsight is 2020 kind of moment here because you look back at the opponents that they played, um, and how they scraped by some of them when it comes to winning, especially with their defense that has been kind of hindering them through the injury bug. It's not necessarily like an excuse, but that's something kind of like to take into consideration. The Lions as a whole, like it, it's it's kind of hard to say because Ben Johnson did all he could. Like I felt because he, besides that, one pass for Jameson Williams that he threw in interception, it was just awful. Like Ben Johnson tried to keep up, but the defense couldn't withstand the Commanders, and um, it just makes no sense at the end of the day. So I just don't really think that it's really on the offense necessarily, but it was definitely Jared Goff's fault. I'm just gonna be really honest with you. Like Jared Goff, and especially in crucial moments like this, really just show like, is he really built for the moment? Like genuinely, because those are crucial, man. Like those were like killers, especially that pick six and the fumble and to start the game, like in the beginning of the game. It just genuinely just boggles my mind. Like this team was built to win a Super Bowl, and they just did not come to play. They were just not prepared whatsoever. Um, but hey, let's get on to the Commander side. Hats off to Jaden Daniels. Hats off to Jaden Daniels. Dude is a baller, and in his rookie season is making an NFC Championship game. What more can you say? It's honestly one of the best rookie performances a rookie can have, especially after coming off of a season where we had CJ Stroud do really well as well. So that being said, it's great. Good for Jaden Daniels. Good for this team. Good for Dan Quinn too, because Dan Quinn, in his first season, was able to rile up the troops, and with the luck that they have as well, because it is luck as well. There is involved, but you got to give credit where credit is due. The team is really good, and we'll see what happens next week. I really hope that they don't win because for the rookie quarterback's sake, but we'll see what happens at the end of the day because it's really not up to me. So let's go on to the early slate today, and it is the 22-28 game. Rams almost had it at the end. Stafford, I thought was going to drive it down the field, but then they just couldn't convert. And Eagles just got, honestly, I just think the Eagles just got away with it. Their defense really was so good, dude. They were so dominant this game. Even though the total yardage doesn't say a lot, especially on crucial downs, and like making plays to make Matthew Stafford uncomfortable, especially with the snow. The snow was a big factor when it comes to all this because these last two games, especially the game I'm going to talk about afterwards, weather was involved, but the game plan had to change to maximize the amount of efficiency when it comes to their offenses. But as a whole, fourth down wise, like there wasn't really much there. Matthew Stafford and like listen, sacks allowed. The offensive line for the Eagles allowed more sacks, but it was a lot of the thing was Jalen Hurts holding onto the ball a little too long. as well. Jalen Hurts didn't do that great, let's be really honest, but I felt like the defense did come clutch, as even though it doesn't show up in the stat sheet, like a lot of the pass breakups for Matthew Stafford's like, deep ball and whatnot were very important to the Eagles because Puka was going off in a set. Let's go with the stats wise. Like Puka was starting to heat up near the end of the game. And if it weren't for, a bunch of breakups, it would have been GG's and it would have been a Rams comeback to win this game. And, you know, Stafford almost had it, but at the end of the day, Saquon Barkley is a monster. That's the man of the match, MVP in this game. Because dude ran for 200 yards. Giants, you gave Saquon Barkley to the Eagles. I mean, yes, granted, I know this is a little bit of a sidebar, but I get it. The Giants had to, I guess, move on, but I genuinely think that they should have kept him. But Saquon Barkley is happier here. He's doing really well, as you can tell, and what more can you really ask? I mean, now we have a battle between the Commanders and the Eagles for the NFC championship game. It's really all we can say, and it's gonna be that's gonna be awful. I don't know. I don't know who to genuinely. I think the Eagles, but I have to root for. But we'll get to that in the predictions later on this week. The final game, Ravens and Buffalo Bills. This was a really good game. This was a good game. Like it was pretty solid for the beginning. Both of them came out of the gate really hot, like a touchdown for touchdown, and then Lamar Jackson had an MVP season, but didn't play like an MVP today. Yes, he did play really well in the second half, but that first half was what really costed this game too. And I will get to Mandrews later. But give credit where credit is due to the Buffalo Bills. They stuck to the game plan. They took advantage of the turnovers at times. And, Josh Allen was a beast. He didn't have a really good passing yards wise, but he was a beast when it comes to running the ball, especially in short yardage situation. James Cook, pretty solid game, like 60. If you look at the stats wise, like you don't really see much like yards wise. Their defense, the Bills defense really did a good job neutralizing the Ravens at times. And this was a pretty high yardage situation affair between these two. And third down wise, 7 out of 10, 5-11. Like I feel like they were a lot of long sustained drives. They almost had nearly identical time of possessions. Just the Bills outbeat them by 3 minutes. But that interception and the 2 fumbles, the 3 turnovers for the Ravens really costed them this game. And Mark Andrews, what a fall from grace. In the worst possible time, he sold this game for the Lamar Jackson. I get it. Lamar did make mistakes. He had a big crucial fumble that eventually led to a red zone situation for the Buffalo Bills. That's not okay. He took accountability as well in his press conference, and I 100% agree that Lamar Jackson should get some blame. 100%. But you got to keep in mind, Zay Flowers didn't play. That's not an excuse, but Lamar did with what he had, pretty much. And another thing to think about is that Mark Andrews had 3 crucial drops and 1 being a fumble. That will sell you games, especially at the end when you needed a 2-point conversion. When Lamar threw it down the field, threw a touchdown, and to Isaiah Likely, and Mandrews literally dropped an easy, catchable pass, and that sealed the game. That hurts. That is horrendous work from Mark Andrews. I think, there's definitely blame for Mark Andrews, but unfortunately, it has to fall on the quarterback too. And in this case, Lamar didn't play like an MVP. And then listen, he played good. He played fine for the most part, but that doesn't mean much when it doesn't amount to a win. Lamar Jackson, this was the year that you should have, or you could have, made the Super Bowl and, in the AFC back-to-back AFC Championship games. Just didn't work out that way. And it's another year where Lamar Jackson falls short in the playoffs again and has, I think, the same amount of wins as Jalen Hurts, I think. I think so. But anyways, I digress. Well, that's gonna do it for this recap. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Let me know if I missed anything from my analysis. Really appreciate that in the comments down below. Always remember to like and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 600 subscribers very soon, so feel free to subscribe and like on the video. More videos to come up with the predictions and reactions as well to the regular season. Off-season content will be here as well. Make sure to check that out. Podcast episodes every Tuesdays and Thursdays. So please do check that out, guys. Thank you guys again for watching. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.